Hello YouTube and welcome to another SQLite tutorial. So today I'm going to show you how to run an SQLite transactions that rolls back on any error. So are you ready? Let's get started. So in order to demonstrate that, let's first open an example database. So as you can see here on my desktop, I have a database called accounts. So let's connect to this database using SQLite. Here we go. So now, as you can see, I have only one table here. Which name is accounts. So let's select all the rows from this table here. So it's just a simple table that contains two columns. So the first one is the ID and second one is the balance. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward table. Okay, so what is a transaction? So let's open this file here as an example. Okay, so as you can see here, a transaction is practically a set of SQL statements, but if one of them fails, all the others will not be executed. So usually we begin our transaction with the keyword begin transaction or just begin, and at the end we have to add the word commit. So if one of these transactions actually fails, no one of the other transactions will be, or SQL statement will be executed. Okay, so let's first try to execute this transaction here. Okay, so let me quit from SQLite. So we can simply execute it using the command line. Okay, here we go. Because we have put our transaction in a file named transaction.sql, as you can see here on my desktop, so I can run this transaction directly to my database. So here on my file, I will actually update the column balance with these values 400, 500, 600. So previously they were 100, 200, 300. Okay, so let's execute that transaction. Here we go. So let's connect once again to our transaction, and as you can see, we have actually updated our table. So now let's try to see if our transaction really works. So in order to test it, I will add here another SQL statement, for example this one. But as you will see, this one will never be executed and will generate an error. Why is that? Because I don't have a table called foo. Okay, so when this SQL statement fails, all the others will not be executed. So let's test that. So in order to test that, let's, for example, just put here 100, 200, 300. Because previously they were actually 400, 500, 600. So if the transaction actually succeeded, normally we should not have these values here. Okay, so let's save this file here. Here we go. Let's quit and let's run our transaction once again. Okay, so now I have run it. Normally, if I connect to my database, I should have the same values, but as you can see here, I have changed, the values have changed. Why is that? Even if we have this statement here which is false, which fails, normally when this statement fails, all the others will not be executed. But what happens here? Actually, it's very simple to explain. Because we are working on shell command line, and the shell command line for SQLite is interactive. It will execute every SQL statement even if there is an error. Okay, so in order to work around that, we have to add an option called bile. Okay, so I will add here option called bile, and I will submit here my transaction file. So remember we have 100, 200, 400. So now let's update it with 400, 500, 600, and I will save my file. Okay, so now what will happen? Actually here we have an error, so all the above statement should not be executed. So our table should remain with 100, 200, 300. So let's test that. Okay, we have added option minus bile. Here we go. Let's connect to our table. And yes, we have succeeded. So actually our transaction works because we didn't update our balance column, because one of the statements, which is update foo, fails. So if it fails, all the other SQL statement will never be executed. So this is the point about transactions. So transactions actually work as SQL statement unit. If one of them fails, all the others will not be executed. Okay, I hope that you have understand really clearly the use of transactions. As always, I hope it has been informative for you, and I want to thank you for viewing. Bye bye.